be jamming over here to my own soundtrack. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to another season of Sip with Joy. If this is your first time joining, this is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings, and I am that girl. I am your host, Joy M. Hutton. I'm a serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. And speaking of wine, today's wine is a Chardonnay. Now, I'm not really a fan of Chardonnay, but I do like Chardonnay from South Africa. So this one is from South Africa, and I can't wait to tell you about it. If you're following on Sip with Joy on Instagram, make sure you tune in to that so I can tell you about this wine on the sip of the day. So I'm going to take my sip before we get started. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy your break just as much as I did. Your break, my break. It was more so a break for me, but I had to take this time to just let my mind rest from creating content because it's a lot. It's a lot. So, but I do always miss you guys when I'm gone. If that means anything. So let's see. So today's episode is titled Mind Your Business. um and in light of Kate Middleton's announcement about her health and people still dragging Haley or Halle Bailey online, I want to talk about this because does being a public figure mean that you can't be private? Are you entitled to privacy as a public figure? I think you should be. And how do you balance it? And even when you're not a public figure, how do you decide what to share? And as always, I love for you guys to chime in the chat. Let me know you're here over here on the YouTube, and share your thoughts on this. So y'all, the pressure is real. Like social media has people out here acting a fool. But I think, although it's entertainment to be let into other people's lives, because, I be on the shade room too, looking at stuff. It's entertaining. But at the same time, sometimes I'm sitting there looking at these people like, why are you sharing so much of your life? Like intimate text messages between each other, and I just think it's gotten out of hand. And so, I feel like sometimes people feel pressured to be vulnerable and, we're in this age of transparency. But I just think that, it gets to be too much. And I know for me, I really never felt pressured to share online. And people ask me all the time about going on a reality show, and not only just a reality show, but a dating show. And for anybody that knows me, they know like I would never do that. But never say never. And so for me, I've talked about this earlier on when I first started the podcast, but for me, one, my season had filmed during the pandemic, so I was not meeting anybody during the pandemic. But even with that, like when people were sending me the casting info for the show, I was like, hell no, I'm not going on a reality show. And I'm definitely not going on a dating show. Hey, Robin. And so I was like, absolutely not. So then people started sending me the casting info. I just ignored it. But then I had like 4 producers reach out to me, and I was like, okay, what is this show? Never even heard of it. Let me go look online and see what this is about. And so I had a casting producer reach out to me who was actually an older Black woman. And so I ended up having a conversation with her. Thanks, Elsie. Hey, I ended up having a conversation with her, and she put me at ease about going on the show. And she said, you know what? This is a show I would actually recommend to my friends. Now, she could have been lying, but she made me feel at ease, and I went through the process and obviously ended up being a finalist. But I had so much anxiety about going on a show and being public, opening myself to my dating life, being online. And then you don't know what other kind of personalities you're going to interact with. So that was something I was really nervous about. But what I do know is, one, I was not going to go on there and embarrass my family because, yeah, I would have got dragged to eternity if I had embarrassed the Hutton name. But I was not going to go on there and embarrass my family. But also, I always tell people, if you go on a show, if you're speaking, even if you're speaking on a panel, if you're speaking on a panel for your job, you can determine what you want people to know and what you don't want people to know. You have control over that. And so I knew that going in. One, all I can do is be myself. And when people meet me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're the same as you were on the show." Yeah, because I don't have 18 different personalities, and I'm also not going on there to be somebody that I'm not. So I think that, um, it was a big decision though for me to go on there being an introvert and being a very private person. I just, you couldn't have told me I was going to do a reality show. So yeah, and then having to live my dating life in public, that was difficult because you have people telling you what you should or should not do, who you should be dating, what type of guy is good for you. And I'm like, these people don't know me. And then not only that, like having to live a tragedy out in the public eye too, that was very hard for me because I went through it on September 15, 2020, but the public saw it months later and I had to relive that day again. And so that was difficult. And people say, well, you're in the public, so people should know what's going on with you. Why? Like, I feel like you can still be a private person and be a public figure. I think that you can still be, even if you're not a public figure, you can still be private. Like, no one is entitled to your life. You can control that. And so again, I think for me the biggest thing was, people having opinions on what I should do, people telling me or having perceptions of who I was, and they didn't know me at all. It's like, you've watched me for 45 minutes for 12 weeks. You have no idea who I am. You have no idea what I'm going through. And you don't know these people that I was dating beyond watching them on the show. So don't tell me what I should be doing. But what I realized about reality shows is that there's a familiarity that people have with you. And so they feel like, nah, girl, I know you. You my friend. You my girlfriend. Like, I could tell you, nah, you can't. When I see people out in public, they like, hey, Joy. And I'm like, oh, do I know them? But I don't. And I love it. I always speak to people. I'm not that person. I'm not a mean girl at all. But it's just interesting, like even navigating social media after I was on the show, like, okay, am I supposed to start sharing more? People would make comments about, oh, she showed a little leg, she's dressing too sexy. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And so it was just really weird because I'm like, people had this perception of me like I was just this church girl or I was prude. I didn't think I was prude on the show, but people form their own opinions about you. And I'm like, I mean, I love Jesus, but I curse a little. And, I like a good turn up, but people have perceptions. And again, it's not just public figures. I'm speaking to you all as well, like how people may perceive you based on what they just see on social media, not really taking the time to get to know you. And that's overwhelming when you have so many eyes on you and trying to just navigate that new space. Because I'm like, ooh, I got to be careful what I post. I got to be careful about what I do in public. Like literally I would be on dates and people would be taking pictures of me when I'm on a date with somebody else. Not only are you invading my privacy, but you're invading the privacy of the person that I'm with. And that's just not okay. I feel sorry for the people who had a paparazzi following them because I'm like, listen, I would just go crawl under a table. I would not come out. Robin said, people became invested because of the familiarity, but you need to control the narrative and keep it true to who you are always. Absolutely. Elsie said people get being classy with being prude. Yeah, and I don't understand that, but y'all see me on here. I'm just gonna show up as who I am all the time. And that's the only thing that I know how to do, whether I'm on TV or not. Like, I'm gonna show up as Joy M. Hutton. And so, I've talked about like boundaries. I think with anything, like one, the authenticity piece, but also boundaries. And so it's important to set boundaries as well. And so even when going on the show, like I said before, I went in knowing what I was going to share, what I wanted people to know, and what I didn't want people to know. Like I wasn't going to give too much airtime to my ex-husband, because why? Like this is about me and finding love, and I'm not doing that. I'm not going to bash him. Like there's no reason for that. And so there are people that will go on shows and bash people in their lives, or just do the most. And I'm not about doing the most. I may do the most when I'm having fun, but not in that sense where I just feel like I have to overshare to get likes, or to get more attention from people. I'm not doing that. And so setting boundaries for me also looks like just blocking out the noise. I remember I had watched a few videos on YouTube after the show came out, and I went on Twitter, and I was just like, okay, no, I can't do this. This is not good for. This is not going to be good for my mental health. And I'm grieving. Hell no. I had someone that I knew that was on a show, and she was literally coming undone because of what her castmates were saying and doing to her, and what the internet was saying, social media. And you literally have to block out the noise. And you know yeah, I just knew for me, yeah, I have to protect my peace. I have to protect my sanity by not going on here and listening to what people were saying. And I do not engage with trolls, because people, what I've had to realize is people are miserable, and they want you to be miserable right along with them. As the saying goes, misery loves company, and that is so true. And now I have a good old clap back sometimes, because some people deserve it, but I'm not spending my time responding to people with the negativity, because I don't have time and I don't have the energy. So it's just not happening. But yeah, misery loves company. So it's like, where do we draw the line? Do you all think there are any gray areas, with managing a public and a private life? Because social media, like I said, regardless if you're a public figure or not, social media is very public. So how do you balance your public persona with your private life? And I think it's hard to go backwards when you've already let people into your life so much. But you can do it. I mean, you can turn the off switch. It's your choice. But I think that it's hard, because then people have these expectations of you. So, like Kate Middleton, I was talking about earlier, Glamour wrote an article that was titled, "Let's Be Clear, We Forced Kate Middleton to Share Her Diagnosis with the World." And I'm like, did we really? But because of like the jokes about her disappearance, people were saying she was dead. People were saying William was holding a hostage. Somebody killed. Like, it was just all kinds of stuff, like jokes and memes and all this stuff. And so that drove her to make an announcement. Now, she did say back in January, that she was having abdominal surgery and she would be recovering for 10 to 14 days. Now, y'all know, if someone says something, the interwebs are going to hold that person to it. And then the palace later came out saying that they would that she would be back to her duties after Easter. But when that 10 to 14 days expired, folks was like, "Where's Kate?" They even started a hashtag about it. And I said, Lord have mercy, why don't they leave this lady alone? But people were like, well, she said she would just be recovering for 2 weeks. So where is she? And so did she do too much by letting the world know that she even was having surgery? But I feel like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because she still would have been off the grid, whether she told us that she had surgery or not, and people still would have wondered. So I really don't feel like there was a a good way to handle this. I mean, somebody was gonna have to come out and say something, but it's just unfortunate that you feel pressured to share things, or some people feel pressured to share things because of these conspirators out here. Um, Robin said it's a rabbit hole, but yes, you have to not read the comments, even if 95% are positive. That one negative comment can affect you greatly. Right. And it's amazing how we just focus on the one negative. Our mind just does that. But yeah, it's like any negative experience versus all the positive ones you had. I'm going to focus on the negative. But yeah, you do that. But, I just feel like with Kate, and anybody, like sometimes you feel pressured to share. And I don't necessarily feel like I've ever been pressured to share anything with anybody. I may have felt regret about sharing certain things, but never pressured. I'm like, ooh, I probably shouldn't have put that on the internet. But hey, things can be deleted. Now, unless somebody had already screenshotted or shared or whatever, then it's out there. But sometimes you can take whatever you put out there real quick. But yeah, there are things that I've definitely regretted, doing online. But hey, you live and you learn and you move forward accordingly. But yeah, with Caitlyn, she came out with a video asking for privacy or privacy in British terms. But she came out and asked for it, but are people really going to do that? And if they do, maybe they'll let her rest for a little bit, but then they'll just find another victim because there's always somebody else that's going to be a victim to the interwebs. So, and same with Halle Bailey, they wanted to keep their pregnancy private, and people crucified her when she posted photos after the fact. But then they hate that she's showing her baby's face. But I feel like these are their choices. Like, why are we penalized for our choices? Like, why do people feel so entitled to know everything? And I just think it's unfair. Like, you should be able to choose what you want to share or not share, despite what everybody else wants to know. And, and so I feel like her and her boyfriend, they're still young. They're excited about being parents, and they want to share these moments with the world, but they want to do it in their own way. So if they don't want to show you that baby's face, they don't want to show you the baby's face. So, but it's so many examples like that, like even with Ashanti, she hasn't formally announced it. People are like, well, if you're not going to announce that you're pregnant, then stop wearing these. We tired of seeing these T-shirts and boots. I'm like, Lord, the internet is cruel. Like, y'all really, listen, you got to have a thick skin to be dealing with these people out here. And I'm just like, woo, that is one thing I had to prepare myself for. I was like, oh my God, are these people going to be coming for me on these internets? But I think the internet actually took it easy on me, with the show, and I was glad. I didn't get too many negative comments to me. I get some every once in a while, but overall, like, I was not a villain, thank goodness. But I can say though, I would leave y'all hanging for a little. I wouldn't leave y'all hanging to the end, but I would leave y'all hanging for a little bit if I was pregnant, because I think with me, I'm over 40, being pregnant, I would be afraid to announce it too soon, because I've just seen too many people I know experience miscarriages, and I would be so excited that I'm pregnant, but then what if I had a miscarriage? So I think a lot of people may not share for that reason too until later on in the pregnancy. So again, you can still control what you share, and I don't answer questions that I don't want to answer. I still see people to this day that ask me about people from the show. I have moved on, and I'm on to bigger and better and greater. So that is what I'm claiming in my life. But again, I answer the questions I want to answer, and I don't answer when I don't want to. And then same thing with posting. Like, I don't post pics or moments where I don't want to share. I'm usually not a real time person, like posting in real time. And Robin, she knows that about me, but I'm like, I'll post that in 3 weeks. Hell, you might see it 3 years later. You might see that picture from 3 years later. Elsie said Joy, but Ashanti, but more Haley seemed to be lying. If you want to keep your pregnancy private, but that's one thing, but lying, saying you're not, you lose credibility. I agree with you on that, Elsie. I definitely did. I didn't know she said she wasn't pregnant, but yeah, it's like at some point it's like, okay, it's obvious. Haley just didn't say. She just wasn't answering any questions. Hello, Raymel. Robert said, girl, you be a whole month later. Right. But I listen, picture surface 3 years later too, because content is hard to come by. Okay, y'all be struggling with putting out content for y'all. Because listen, it's a full-time job. I don't have time. Um, so for me, it's about, like Robin said earlier, being true to yourself, being authentic, and having some vulnerable moments because people want to know you're human. I'm not a robot. I don't pretend to be perfect because I'm not. But you also have to still protect what matters to you. And that's what I do. I protect what matters to me. And, that's why I love Sip with Joy because I feel like it's a safe space for me to share my feelings and about things and experiences that I value. And the reality is that everyone doesn't want to hear me talk about the things that I talk about, and that's okay because a lot of people want to hear me talk about my love life, but there's so much more to me than that. And you guys are always welcome to ask questions, and I will answer them most of the time. But I'm not here to please everyone, and I'm okay with that. And guess what, guys? The phone is working now. So if y'all want to call me today, somebody want to test it out for me so y'all know I'm not lying, call me so I know this thing is working, okay? So let's see who's gonna call me. It's 713 396 0277. 713-396-0277. Okay. Yeah, call me so I know this phone is working, okay? Because I've been working hard to get this so I can do the call-ins again because I really enjoy when you guys call me and talk to me. I mean, you all talk to me here on the chat, but I want to hear your voice. So call me. Call me now. 713-396-0277. And this is not my real phone number for y'all trying to hold on to this number later, okay? I will not answer. Hi, walking into her. She said it takes a lot to be vulnerable because this world is sick. Girl, you ain't lying. It is really, whoo. Speaking of that, while y'all decide if y'all gonna call me or not, let me see, can y'all see it? I need to put a background behind that, but it's also the color I'm wearing today. Speaking of my what the sip and, the world is sick, y'all and push Lizzo to quit. She says she quits. Now, I don't know if that's going to be necessarily true because music is a part of her. But she has been getting tired of being bullied. And she's like, I'm tired of people, bullying me, saying things about her online and all these. Because, she has these lawsuits about how she was treating her workers and saying people have been lying on her, and this woman has said that she is quitting, okay? So y'all not going to call me? Nobody wants to call me? Y'all, I want to test this out. 713-396-0277. Somebody call me so I can see if this is working. See, if my mama were online, she would do it because she, she loves me. Y'all don't. Oh, somebody's calling. Yay. Okay, let's see. Hello.
Hey, Joy. It's Elsie.
Hi. Let me see. Can y'all hear her? Okay.
Oh,
Wait a minute. See.
uh,
Hello.
hi, Joy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear the caller? Okay, but I'm getting an echo, so I think you have your sip with joy on in the background. Okay, who's calling?
It's Elsie.
Hey, Elsie.
Hey,
It's
welcome back.
Thank you. It's so good to hear your voice. I'm so glad I got this working. Listen, y'all, the struggle has been real with this with technology, okay? So I'm glad I finally have this working so y'all know I'm not lying. So now you can call and talk to me when we're doing Sip with Joy.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
Yes,
Technology is a thing.
it is. So tell me about so what do you think about this topic today?
You know what? I think I'm so over social media in general. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like most, I would say 98.5% of the people on social media are always oversharing. This one got beef with that one,
Yes.
even within their own household. Why do you take to social media when you could pick up the phone and call someone
Mm-hmm.
and talk about whatever the problem is? But they would rather go back and forth on social media. I just scroll through most of it. I like
Yes.
the dog videos. They seem
I
to be
do
the only one
too.
that
They're
are true.
great. I love it.
um, but everybody else, it's like I'm so sick of everybody. And then people will tell you 90% of their intimate business. But then if
Yes.
you ask one question about something, why are you all in my business? But you put
Right.
it all out there. Why
Mm-hmm.
I can't know this one detail that I wanted to know, but you done told me who you sleeping with, how
Right.
he was, what y'all did, how you did,
Mm-hmm.
like, and but then when I ask you, well, what shoes did he have on? That's too personal.
Exactly. Oh, you getting too personal. You asking too many
Yeah,
personal questions.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm just over social media in general. It's like it's just too much. Whatever happened to when you were growing up and your mother used to tell you, don't go out there telling everybody all of our business. Don't tell all
Hello.
your business.
Yes.
Now it's like it's the reverse. Like
Mm-hmm.
tell more, tell all of it. Don't keep anything private
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Exactly.
I'd rather go back to keeping things personal than I don't want to. I do not. Please take me out the group chat. I don't want to know
Right.
everything.
Yes, it has gotten to be too much. And I agree. Like even I have gone into my settings on Instagram. I don't know if you guys knew you can do this. You can hide certain content that has people's
Yes.
names in it. So like I've hidden
Oh,
Krishan Rock, I've hidden Sexy Red.
yes.
Suki Hana, I don't want to see it in my feed. I don't want to see it.
I didn't know I could read. I didn't know I could
Yes.
block certain people.
Yes, you can hide
I
words
think I'm
that
going to have to do that.
yes,
Yes.
you can hide words like people you don't want to see. Like so if Shade Room posts something about Sexy Red or Krishan, I won't see it because I have
Yes.
my
Ye-
hidden words that appears in content.
Oh,
Yeah, because I can't cuz these people it's too much. It's like
I probably will be
uh,
hiding everything.
right. It's like I need to protect my mental sanity. I need to protect my mental health
Yes.
because it's just gotten to be too much. So yeah, you got to protect your
I
peace.
had the shade room and then I had the mocha shade room. That was too much.
Mm.
I got rid of the mocha shade room and I'm about to hide 90% of the names like you said. I'm going to
You
hide
say I
some
want to
names
see
on the
all these
regular
people.
shade room.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's
But
too
you
much.
can.
I'm going to do that as soon as this is over. I'm going on
Yes.
there and hide some things.
It's really sad though because you like I said, it's entertainment for a lot of people. The more drama, the better. People love drama. People thrive
Yes.
on drama, and it's just like the more the better. And it's a source of entertainment for people because a lot of people their lives are miserable. So they're like, well, somebody got to be more miserable than I am. So why
and
not
I
be
and I
entertained?
I agree. I
Yeah, it's
agree.
like why not be
And
entertained off of somebody else's shenanigans? Mm-mm.
and now, all of this with Diddy, this is everybody's
Woo.
chance to get their 15 minutes of fame. Because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm about to get on on the shade room and say I was at one of Diddy's concerts and I saw because now everybody is coming out with
Yeah.
nobody is
Something.
asking your opinion. Nobody asked
Mm-hmm.
you anything, but now everybody got
Something to say.
something to say about something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, I did see him standing next to this girl on May 10th. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's too much.
It really is. So yeah, I get it too. Because sometimes I'm like, I need to give social media a break, and I don't feel like you have to announce it either. Like when people announce like they're taking a break from social media, just take the break. Why do you have to
That's
announce it? Just
attention
take the
too,
break. When I get back, that's
because
when
they
you
want
see me.
attention.
That's when you'll see me. When I get back, that's when you'll see me. Now I have to announce my breaks with Sid with Joy so y'all know when I'm coming back. But that's different. But social media, it's like if you need to do this to protect your peace, then just leave. Exit stage left and then come back when you're
Thank
ready.
you. Thank you. I think that they do that for attention too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why? Where are you
Why?
going?
What's
Why?
wrong?
We'll miss you. And
Mm-mm.
like, just log off.
You know,
No
some
explanation needed.
yes, I had posted a quote from someone that I know. She said, "You need to take a break before you break." And I was like, "Ooh, it's so true because a lot of things it's just burnout is real and there's going to be an episode on that this season about burnout. Burnout is real. And if you don't take
Yes,
a break, whether that's mental, physical, emotional, you will break. And so you don't want to
yes.
break before you take a break. And so I think that's so crucial. And even with social media, sometimes you just have to I'm like, listen, I'm going to put my phone on mute for a few hours a day because it's just too
Yes.
much. Yeah. But it's so good hearing your voice, Elsie. Thanks for
I
calling.
know.
You decided to be
You
my
are
victim
welcome.
today. I'm like,
I
where my
wanted to
people
test
at?
it out.
Yes, yes. Talk to you
Well, you have a
later.
great one. It was good talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
All righty.
All right. Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Oh, Elsie, a real one. See, she always come through in a clutch for me. But yeah, y'all. So as always, I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like the episode if you were feeling it. And make sure you're subscribed so you can see future episodes. And next week we're going to talk about something called hypergamy. Hopefully my male guests won't flake on me because y'all know these men been acting up when I asked them to be a guest. So, but there's something called hypergamy where it's basically about independent women who, they feel like they can take care of everything for themselves. I think there's more to it, but and I'm not explaining it all the way, but it has to do largely with independent women. And so, the idea is that men feel like, well, if you independent, you got it, then why don't you pay the bills? So we're gonna talk about that next week. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week and thanks for tuning in.